So we see you calling in Abraham, but to get out of Abraham, is it the same process? Like to come back to Esther?
Jerry used to say, because he sat at a table right here, and he used to say, I have to keep an eye on you, because after Abraham's been flowing through you, I have a feeling that if anybody came up to you and said, come with me, you'd just go. Because Esther is in a very allowing, and really what she wants from an experience like this or from an experience like meditation is to maintain it, not to let go of it. You know what she's doing there? She's relaxing, and what she says to us every time, even just now, I want to speak clearly your words, which is her shortcut phrase that I don't want any Esther opinions to get in the way of anything here. I just want to receive you clearly. That's her singular intention. She knows that she is step 2 in this equation. So it's not exactly the reverse of it, because she really would like to maintain that connection forevermore, and often can, unless something happens that changes the direction of her thought.
Okay.
Why do you ask the question?
Because I've only seen you get in. I've never seen you get out.
Well, what would being in alignment with Abraham seem like? Seems like clarity and certainty. Seems like
self-assuredness,
confidence, knowing. Mm-hmm. Seems like no limits.
Presence.
Seems like nothing worrisome. And so coming out of that isn't necessarily the opposite end of the stick. It doesn't go from ecstasy to despair. What it would go to is Esther's normal set point. So what is Esther's normal set point in an environment like this? Much higher than on a normal day-to-day basis, because she has deliberately tuned herself and processed herself and meditated herself. It's the same with everyone. Your state of connection is as secure, you might say, that's as stable as you've practiced it to be. Esther's got a pretty stable connection, but that doesn't mean that there aren't things that she is worried about for some time, that if someone presented it to her, couldn't take her there. That's really why she avoids you during a conference like this. She doesn't want you to come up to her and say, I have a question, and Esther says, well, that's for Abraham, and you say, yeah, but I know you know the answer, and then you lay it on her, because she knows that she's not as ready for what you might say. Preparation for the Abraham Now, which is an online broadcast that we do twice a month usually. So the day before, an avalanche of questions come by email, and an avalanche of videos come, and then we watch them all. Esther gets her computer, gets herself in a comfortable place, and in one sitting usually, we just take it all in. Well, we want to say to you, Esther would not do well if Esther were trying to take that all in. So it's a lot of people that are having a hard time with a lot of different things. And so before Esther does that, she makes sure that she's tuned in, tapped in, turned on. She makes sure that she is step 2 in the equation. She doesn't want to relate to anyone's problems. She doesn't even really want to learn anybody's names. She doesn't even really want to recognize. She wants to keep herself totally out of the equation. She doesn't want to know that one is the one that has a problem with that. And so the tuning is the most important part of Esther's work. That's why we're elaborating over your question a little longer. But it's all of your work. You know how you accept that there's a field of gravity here on your planet, and you don't mess with it. In other words, you don't step off of tall buildings without understanding what's going to happen next. You don't expect yourself to be defiant of the law of gravity. And the law of attraction is like that. It's consistent and it's steady. So you want to prepare yourself for each segment that you step into by being as in alignment with all of your resources, with your source resources as you can be. Well, a lot of people don't take the time to segment intend when you get into your vehicle, or segment intend when you pick up the phone. And Esther doesn't always do it either, but she makes sure she's doing it before she encounters something like this. And so it's all about setting the tone of your vibration before you step into the segment, and then you're ready for whatever comes to you in that segment. And it's not different for Esther in this format than it is for any of you in any format. You have resources that most of you are not utilizing. Esther's not an exception in this receiving stuff. You all are extensions of source energy, no exceptions.
So it's kind of like you want to make the jump from where you are to joy as short as possible.
You don't have to be in joy to receive your inner being. You just want to be in non-resistance. Can you put the emotional scale up? Where's boredom? Is it 8? You could be bored. There's not much resistance in boredom. Not really. Nothing going on. You're sort of bored. It's even better if you can be in contentment or satisfaction. Number 7. But you could be anywhere in that vicinity. And here's a really important thing to understand. If you can be in satisfaction, which is kind of like fine, and make it stick, your inner being will join you right there. And you don't have to make any conscious effort to move beyond fine. In the absence of resistance in fine, the law of attraction will take you right up to connection with your inner being. It'll take you right up because there's so little resistance in satisfaction. So all those things that you put into your vortex, all those things that you've been asking about, those things that you've been wondering about, those things that you want, your hopes and dreams and desires and that kind of stuff, that's all in your vortex. If you can just quiet your mind into a feeling of, I feel good, I feel fine, you can get all the way into the deepest answers to the most important questions really in a very short period of time. In other words, what we're saying to you, that's not your work. You ask, that's step 1. Source answers, that's step 2. You just be in the receptive mode, and fine is the receptive mode. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. That's sort of walking through the airport the other day in San Diego, and in the terminal that she hasn't been flying in, they have some sort of screens on the ceiling that are about 20 or 30 feet long, some of them longer. It's like you could look through them and see the ceiling. It's almost like seeing a chain link fence, but it's more refined than that. And it kind of twists. It's like it goes this way and this way and this way. And somehow they have a swimmer swimming on them. A shadow of a swimmer. So it's like you're under the water looking up and someone's swimming over the top of you. And it's just incredible how much delight that can bring a person when they focus on that. Somebody did that just for your entertainment. And it is such a beautiful sort of optical illusion. And so Esther just glanced up at it, and she was the only person in the airport that leaned over against the wall and just watched it for a while. People might say, lady, you need to get a life. And we would say, this is her life. This is her being delighted in this moment over something she had not seen before, and being sort of thrilled with what it feels like. And they were doing different strokes, and when she saw them doing that froggy thing that she likes to do, she said, yeah, I'm good at that one. I'm good at that one. She's actually talking to the swimmers as they're going by. It doesn't matter where you are. Your inner being will guide you to the highest, bestest, funnest, biggest, wholest, mostest, whatever is in your vicinity that you have access to. It doesn't take very much of being in a playful, open, blessed feeling, worthy feeling mode before now it's not just the fake swimmers on the ceiling, it's the dog that somebody just let loose who came right to you. Or it's the glorious man that takes the time to bleed on the floor right in front of you. There are endless ways that the universe can, or just overhearing something, or listening to music. Sometimes the music in the airport is just wonderful. There's just wonderful things everywhere you are. And once you get tuned to them, they get more and more and more and more and more. And then you can have some of your deepest, most satisfying, enlightened thoughts about so many things. Just living in your now and letting your inner being surprise and delight you everywhere you turn, really. Something more?
Yeah, when we talk about focus.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're going to focus this. Focus is calibrating, isn't it? So to make the sound better in the room, we're just going to focus it just a little bit. You turn a knob, you're focusing sound. You use your glasses or you bring something closer. In other words, you're really good at focusing energy all of the time. You are born calibrators. We're just asking you to use your emotional solar plexus to calibrate too.
Okay, so that's a great example. You brought the mic closer and you got what you wanted. But emotionally, if we're focusing, in...
Well, brought the mic closer or turned the volume up. What was the intention?
The intention was to be heard out there.
Or if it's you in a room watching television, it's for your comfort. In this case, it was for the comfort of those who are wanting to hear what you're saying. When you're calibrating for comfort, in other words, rather than straining your eyes, you adjust it so that you can see it. Esther's learned, Jerry taught her, that if she'll go like that, she can read about anything. She can make a little telescope with her fingers. She can't read that road sign. Oh, there, now I got it.
So how is it that energetically, the thing that you're really laser focused on doesn't come until your focus is on something else?
Because your laser focus is practiced on the absence of it. But your desire is keen, and as soon as you take your attention away from the opposite of it, then it can come to you.
Got it. That's huge.
That's as big as it gets right there. Yeah. It's called trying too hard, isn't it? It's called not putting your basket in a...
Appropriate distance.
Yeah. Good?
Yes.
You have a lot more. All right. We'll start right here.
It is such a privilege to be here and to officially meet you, and I want to come from a place of gratitude. I'm very grateful to be here, so thank you so much.
We're all in this together. Isn't it nice?
We are. It's very nice.
We appreciate all of that, yeah.
And I appreciate you and you all. I don't have a question today. I just wanted to say a huge thank you for how you've changed my life. I have started following your teachings relatively new, so in December of last year, and it has changed my life immensely. So thank you for reminding me what I already knew.
What is it that you are doing differently now? Because you've been on a good track for a long time. What is it that you're doing differently now that is giving you true evidence of the control you now have over your point of attraction?
Being very intentional, living in the present and focusing on present decisions and emotion, because emotion is your guidepost. And
so you're paying attention to how you feel.
Absolutely.
Are you getting out ahead of it by deliberately conjuring the feeling and then stepping into the point of attraction? Or do you wait till you get there and then adjust it? What's working best for you?
Living from a point that I already have what I need. I have everything I need. There's no lack. And there's enough for everyone.
So you're fine. You're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. And so from there it just gets finer and finer, yeah?
It does.
And do you ever find yourself sort of blindsided by an event where for a minute you lose your balance?
Yes, sometimes. I think we all have resistant thought.
That means that you're having expansive moments. And what's your go-to practice then? You think you're aware of it early on, or does it have to manifest before you realize it's even happening?
I think I'm aware of it early on, and I like to lead with intention and just say, this is temporary, and that
really good.
I am where I am, and I don't have to be here forever.
You've got it.
I've got it.
We appreciate your appreciation.
I appreciate you.
And your wisdom.